Today, I am going to talk about how to stop suffering. It is another way of saying or speaking about spiritual awakening, even though what I am going to be sharing with you here, it is really nothing to do with spirituality as such. It has everything to do with duality and non-duality, which is duality is basically stories. I'm gonna show you this more in the details, how collapsing the stories in the self-image that lives in this deceptive timeline has to do basically everything with your liberation. But first, I want to let's just get clear on some of the words, because there is just so many confusions about these topics, and it seems like some unattainable ideal, and that actually has to do something with spirituality. Spirituality is always about looking for something, some greater potential than there is right now. Transitioning from 3D to 5D, and you're not there yet, and there's always so much to do in order to get there. And this, which is going beyond duality, it's really simply about recognition. It's not a process, it's a recognition. Suffering simply means that we are enduring some situation that we don't want to be there, we want out. And we find we seek, or we are seeking ways out. And that can happen either by controlling our thoughts and our state of being, controlling other people and how they should be. We try to change situations, change jobs, change people, getting more money, whatever we believe that will give us that happiness. Whatever it is, we set on this journey. And obviously, even though sometimes it provides us this temporary relief, it can never really deal with that underlying issue, which is at the core of suffering, which is the self-image. And the self-image is basically this false identity that we believe we are 100%. And in different situations, it's a different self-image. And this image of ourselves, who we believe that we are, is essentially protecting a story. And this story it's almost like a context from which we live or act out from. And so how to stop suffering is really, it's about recognizing this self-image. And the self-image also, is the controller, is the convincer. And how do you know? Like any time when you find yourself overthink about something, or just thinking like all day long, either with other people or with yourself, there's a conversation happening in your head. And this conversation is always about trying to, and I'm talking about these conversations that are uncomfortable, these uncomfortable negative thoughts, or whatever you call it. It is a story, essentially, and it has all aspects of stories, which means duality. In a story, there's always something good and something bad. There's always something better and something worse. And therefore, we always compare something. We compare it to the past. We compare our false self-image to other people or other self-images, essentially. And it's in the story, everything is always fair or unfair. We feel inferior or superior, good enough. Actually not good enough. We feel either not good enough or we feel superior, because it's duality. It's just like really like either or. And when we have these thoughts, when you can really notice those subtle ways that we communicate with, in the head, but the way it's happening, and really it's not even us. It's just completely spontaneous. It's just this spontaneous arising that's happening. A conversation is happening that tries to convince somebody about something that is essentially not true. And what is true is reality. What actually happens in here, in reality. So just to give an example, well, actually, I made already a video about reality. So if you want to watch that one, I'll leave you a link maybe over here. In awakening, essentially nobody awakens. It's simply recognized that the false image is completely mythical, illusory, and deceptive at the same time, and that it tries to control things and people, including yourself. And it lives in a story. It's not secluded from anything, and the story and the self-image or the character, they are inseparable, because they really, the character is, or the self-image is what happens to them. So it's really the same thing. And it's just nothingness. It's really completely illusory, but we can't help but believe it 100%. And so awakening essentially is to recognize, or recognizing, the self-image, and really noticing all the ways how it's trying to control you, and how it's trying to protect and defend those stories that we believe 100%. And it's at the core of all the conflicts, personal, cultural, all the conflicts ever. There's always a story that needs to be defended and protected. And the way why it's happening is because there is always some benefit that we are getting out of it by staying in those stories. And these stories can be about, it can be expectations, it can be how things should be, our worldviews, our philosophies. There's just so many things, anything basically that we truly believe is true, and it hurts. There is something behind it. And when these self-images, these self-identities that we really believe that we are, when they are collapsed or essentially recognized they're not real and never have been, then what is left is just liberation. It has nothing to do with trying to change something or transformation. It's really just a freedom. It's this abundance. Suddenly it's recognized that there is really nothing missing. Suddenly it's recognized that everything is love. Often people even fall in love with their enemies, or have this sense of gratitude, profound appreciation for people that before they hated, or they felt very fearful around. So this seeking and achieving stops, because it's not needed anymore. There is nobody to do that anymore. And that's why it's so liberating. And I know a lot of people, or we've heard stories about achieving this perfect state of awakening, where just this blissful state, just constantly blissful, and that might not be true. It can look like really anything. It's just to give you an example, because it's really hard to even imagine what would that feel like to not take something personally, for example. Because there can still be enjoyment in whatever arises. I mean, emotion can arise, but the thing is that there is no second layer. This second layer that needs to protect that story. And it's the same thing when you, for example, watching a movie. When you watch a movie, you don't take it personally. You don't make it mean something for you in the future. There is no context of the story. It doesn't mean anything about you, essentially. And so when you're watching a movie, it can be very tragic. It can be very scary, or all kinds of emotions. You can experience that, or emotions arise in that moment. But there is simply nobody to make it mean something, and it doesn't project anything in the future. So this extra layer of suffering is not there. So when we watch a movie, we essentially, especially when it's a good one, we are not enduring a movie. There is still emotions. Emotions can still arise, but we experiencing them fully. There is no resistance to anything. It's just this complete liberation, complete freedom in this. And when I mean freedom, again, we might imagine, wow, there's just like this, I can do whatever I want. And in a way, it's true. But again, you don't have to look too far in the future with this, I can do whatever I want. It's simply that from the space of your free or true nature, without the self-images, from the space of free nature, you're basically free to respond to everything how it is. And so it's very spontaneous, it's very free, it's very it doesn't mean that suddenly you're free to do, or you're gonna do things that you imagined you would be doing. But it's very simple. It simply means that you are very free to ask for what you want, and you are free to say yes when you really mean yes, and say no when you mean no. It's really hard to say our authentic yes or no to things. And that's because there is a story that we try to protect, and the story is always, it's a fear of not losing people or a status or health or love or approval. And this false identity would basically do anything to protect that story, to protect its life. Essentially, that self-image has no substance, is not real. It just is completely not alive. But it will do anything to feel special and to matter. And without it, it's simply recognized that there is no pretense. Everything arises authentically. There is so much love. Suddenly, these new ways are recognized, or new gifts are recognized, opportunities and things and people that are available that we just didn't notice before at all, because we were in a story. It is a liberation from the need to control anybody, to convince anybody, including yourself. And when is the best time to really do this awakening, or stopping suffering? It's really the best time to do it is when we are going through some transitions. And this is when most people are pushed towards some seeking, and they usually go on this long journey, and they start finding glimpses of what it feels like, what it is like. And when we go through transitions, the false identities are like on steroids. They are so scared. They are so scared of uncertainty, what's going to happen. We imagine the worst case scenarios, and we really believe that it will happen. And I was just working with my client, and she was going through a divorce, and at the same time through a transition into a different job. So she was jobless. She was looking for a new job, and obviously all the fears were coming up. And most of all, she was worried about her husband. They had 3 children together, and she was just worried that he can't take care of himself financially or emotionally, and she was just overthinking about him all the time. I mean, it was constant, and it was very painful. And she was in this situation, going through this divorce, which was very painful, as maybe some of you have already been through some breakup or divorce. And it's just one of these experiences where all the fears and all the judgments just come up so strong. And this is really the best time to really look at them and release them. And so basically what happens with her spiritual awakening, or with her ending of suffering, is it's just very simple. It can be so ordinary. What happened was that when those self-identities were collapsed, and she was able to simply be in her true nature, all this overthinking just stopped. This suffering just stopped. And she was able to have finally thoughts for herself. Because before, it just took her enormous time just constantly thinking about it and trying to control and fix this situation, what she's gonna do with, they have these children together, and they're gonna spend time with him, and he really, there's no way he can take care of himself. He's just not able to. All bunch of judgments and fears about her future now, because she had no job and she didn't know how to make money, and so, long story short, she was able to be without those attacking thoughts. It's very simple. So suddenly you have thoughts for yourself and you really look into what do you want. And she started looking for jobs, and there's just this freedom in being able to take care of yourself, take care of your needs, take care of your family, take care of anything that's it's just a freedom. It's like this free flow of inspiring thoughts, as opposed to these judgmental and negative and overthinking thoughts, self-doubts, and all of that, which is really always in the realm of the self-image. And I just had a call with her 2 weeks ago, and she called me and she was so happy. She said that she found this job and she's working now in a therapy clinic with ketamine therapy. And she said she has the best boss ever. And looking back at the time, going through this most difficult situation, really one of the most difficult situations in her life, going through a divorce and the whole process, how grateful she was, or how stunned and shocked she actually was that she didn't have to suffer through that situation, and she was able to even appreciate her husband through that process, and set very clear boundaries and be very clear on, it was all about her suddenly. It was all about what she wanted, and with her authentic expression, free nature, and just being spontaneous throughout that situation. So it's very simple in a way, and by simple I don't mean easy. It's never easy. It's collapsing the self-image can be very painful. People can go through different emotions, but when they are guided in a good way or in a supportive way, it never feels like suffering. It really feels just like watching a movie and experiencing these emotions until they're fully experienced. Then the self-image, the controller and the convincer that constantly tries to convince us about something that is simply not true, is being recognized that is not real and never was, and we are free to respond and free to be without controlling anybody or ourselves. So that's basically in a nutshell about awakening and ending emotional suffering. If you would like to find out more about how the self-image is collapsed, go to my website and see if you are ready to do that.